1 of the 7th International Language and Language Teaching Conference in this Zoom meeting. My name is Jessica as moderator. I am a 5th semester student of the English Language Education Study Program. I will be in charge of this parallel session. Before we start, let me read the rules. 1. Each presentation will last for 15 minutes. 2. Two presentations will be delivered in a row. 3. We will have Q&A session after all the presentations have finished. 4. Other rules can be found in the program book. Okay, that's all about the rules. Now we will start today's parallel session 1. There are 2 presentations that will be delivered by Mr. Edi Santoso and also Ms. Sri Wulandari. Okay, all right. Without further ado, let's start with the first presentation entitled Online Teaching and Challenges Amid COVID-19 Pandemic at Senior High Schools of Metro Lampung. It will be delivered by Mr. Edi Santoso from SMA Negeri Olahraga Lampung. Before that, let me share the screen for you. Okay, Mr. Edi, you have 15 minutes to do the presentation. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the time given to me, Miss Jessica, right? All right, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Santoso. I'm from Lampung. Right now I'm teaching at Senior High School of Sports, Lampung. And today I'm going to share with you my paper entitled Online Teaching and Challenges Amid COVID-19 Pandemic at Senior High Schools of Metro Lampung. And here is my email address, edisangguru@gmail.com. Please next slide. Yes, next slide. Miss Jessica.
Okay, wait, sir.
Yes.
I think it's still loading. Let me do it once again.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Maybe I have question first before I continue my presentation. Why I choose this title when, yes, the slide is gone. Hello? Yes, still uploading. All right. Okay. Next page. All right. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, after 8 months of COVID-19 pandemics, starting from March, 17 March of 2020, our government has already instructed all schools all over Indonesia to do online teaching, and students have to study at home. So this really gives big impact to all of us, especially not only aspects of life, but also education. And in education, we start only teaching and students start home learning. That's why in online teaching and home learning, I'm interested to find what challenges, what problems that so far the teachers encounter and the students face during this pandemic situation. And if I look at my own experience with my kids especially, maybe I have a question to all of you before I continue my presentation. What are actually our kids doing right now? Yeah. At home? Do they study? Or are they doing homework given by teachers? Maybe if we come closer to our kids, what they do in daily activities is mostly just grab their smartphones, open YouTube channels, hours and hours. Yeah, sometimes they neglect their work given by school. So this is challenges actually, and I sometimes got surprised when, for example, in the morning I wake up, or in the middle of the night I wake up, my kid is still holding smartphones. So this is a bit ironic actually. So that's why it triggers me to want to find out more what is happening with online teaching so far. So that's why I write this paper in order to find the answers. All right. Next page, Miss. Thank you. So challenges is a big question for me. What it means by challenges here is more to problems, yeah, troubles that the teachers are facing, and when students at home do home learning, do they also face problems? So this is the challenges that what I mean in my paper. What about online teaching? Online teaching here is, yeah, according to White 2008, is defined as a set of activities delivered through distance using internet connection. So this is what we have done so far. And I think many teachers so far, yeah, what they're doing is only distribute material to students, and they do not, yeah, go deeper to the student itself, whether the work that's delivered to the students are already, yeah, done well or not. So this is also another case. Okay, next slide, please. So this is my data collection. To answer the challenges, I use 3 instruments here. First, online questionnaire, because we cannot give our questionnaires directly to the respondents. Therefore, all of this, I did it synchronously through online system. The first is about the questionnaire. I make the questionnaires and then upload it using Google Forms. So that's to the respondent, I just share the link, they open the link and then answer the questionnaires and submit it back to me. So this is a bit simple. Then we did it directly. So this is one positive ways, I think. And another occasion, the respondent also did online guided. WR here means writing reflection. Sorry, I make a brief here, patient, so that is easy to be read. Online guided writing reflection. So This is all distributed to using Google Form, yeah. And after collecting the data, and then I did something like categorization or coding. And when I find some a bit questioning data, I try to cross-check or to validate the data using online interview. This is not, it is not that for all respondents, but only those respondents who comes up with questioning data. So here I need to interview them in order to get more clear data so that I can make some categorizations that fit to the real data itself. All right, and this all instruments here, I did it online, and for the interview, I use Google Meeting, so that's it would be clear enough for me to get the answer from the respondents. All right, next slide, please. Okay, again, the method that I use here is, again, still using online ways, yeah, synchronously. I invited 10 FFL teachers around metro areas in Lampung, different schools. I let you know that in metro there are 19 schools, but why I choose 10? Because yeah, these 10 teachers, I do understand them well, I know them well, and I'm sure that they could cooperate well with my research, and that's true. And through these 10 FL teachers, I collected the data through questionnaire and guided writing reflection. And then I also did online interview through Google Meeting. And then the last, I make categorization through coding and then extract the data in order to get some conclusion. All right, next please. Okay, talking about the results here. First, I'm going to talk about the data gained from online questionnaire. Here a bit tricky to read, but yeah, let me read one by one. Yeah, 5 out of 10 did online teaching at home, and then 9 out of 10 teachers, the S stand for teachers, yeah, varied their online teaching. And then teaching platforms that mostly used by the respondents are social media. Social media here is like WhatsApp, and then YouTube channels and so on, yeah. And also they use also Google Classroom. All right. Next, for out of 10 teachers find trouble with teaching platforms. So this is the reality. I just noticed that if the teachers get problems with the teaching platform, with the teaching tools, how then they can transfer their knowledge to their students well. So this is a bit questioning for me, but this is reality. And then next, 10 teachers admitted school provision of online teaching training. So it means that all schools have already conducted training for their teachers, especially in facing online teaching during this pandemic situation. But it is contradicting to the reality because, in fact, teachers are still having problem with the teaching itself, and so this is the case that should be also some solution. And 7 out of 10 teachers admitted to having decreased teaching motivation. So this is a big question. If the teachers themselves have low motivation in teaching, how about the students? So I question myself, yeah, because I'm also a teacher. So that need to be answered. Yeah, the next one. Next slide, please. All right. The next online guided writing reflection. We have some findings. First, when we are talking about teaching strategy, some teachers, yeah, wrote in his writing reflection, prepare teaching material, and from 10 teachers, 80% did it. It means 8 teachers did preparation when they were teaching through online learning. And teaching media used by the teachers is about 60%. It means 6 teachers use media, and the rest, the 4 teachers, maybe not make use of the media. So this is also the question for me. And in giving instruction, only 20% of the teachers. So from 10 teachers, only 2. So this is also surprising for me. Yeah, because it is very important in teaching. The teacher should give instruction, but in the teacher's writing, okay, thank you for reminding me. 1 minute. And the next slide, please. Next slides, please. Oh, yeah. Yes, teaching issues, yes. The issues that come up from this is that the teachers have bad connection of internet access, yeah, and then financial problems in buying with the balance stock off or quota, I mean 60%, and teachers passing passive students 10%, and difficult to control student work 10%. And the most questioning is that parents less caring. So this is also another case. And from these results, please next slide. Yeah, I try to make conclusion that there are many problems. There are many problems with the teachers, the students, and also the parents. So this result in the teaching learning did not run well. So I may assume, I might conclude that actually the teachers' preparation and planning is still far from being good, I said, because there are many problems with them themselves, yeah. So that is my conclusion, because time is already up, yeah, Miss Jessica. Yeah, thank you for your attention. Maybe I am sure that there will be a number of questions, and I try to address as many as I can. Thank you, and I give back time to moderator. Yes, Miss Jessica.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Eddie. That was an engaging presentation. Thank you so much. Okay, now Before we move to the second presentation, let me remind you that if you have any questions for the speakers, you can type the questions in the chat room 5 minutes before the last presentation ends by mentioning name underscore affiliation underscore to whom the questions will be addressed and your question. Okay. Now let's move to the next presentation. The second presentation, entitled Teaching During the Pandemic, Opportunity or Challenge. It will be delivered by Ms. Wulan from FKIP Uniska Kediri. Ms. Wulan, you have 15 minutes to do the presentation. Time is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Jessica.
You're welcome.
Let me adjust my volume. May I ask that whether my voice is accepted clearly or no?
Yes, your voice is clear.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let me introduce myself. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Eddie and others. I'm Wulan. My complete name is Sri Wulandari. I'm from FKIP Uniska Kediri, East Java. And I'm here with my partner, Nurbaya Pulhehe. But now I'm presenting by using her account. But she still sits beside me. Well, let me share screen now. Oh, sorry, I was. Sorry, there was a technical mistake. Yeah. Share. Where is it? Okay, this is the title of me and my partner research. It is entitled Teaching During Pandemic, Opportunity or Challenge. This is a little bit similar to Mr. Eddie Santoso's research, but the difference is only that it is conducted in a university to the lecturers.
I'm sorry,
yes.
The screen hasn't started, I guess.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Wait. Can you see?
Yes, it's already there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, my research is similar to Mr. Eddie's research. The title is Teaching During the Pandemic, Opportunity or Challenge. The clear difference is only that this is conducted in the university or in our faculty, teacher training and education faculty. And it is done by me, myself, and my partner, Ms. Nurbaya Pulhehe. And it has some backgrounds, like what is written in the slide here. Actually, that this pandemic is, of course, this is called an outbreak. So this is such a emergency situation. So in Indonesia, by date March 17, 2020, there is a circular.
Make it slideshow.
Hello. The circular of the Minister of Education and Culture.
Slideshow.
I'm sorry.
No, the slide is still not slideshow. Slideshow, di slideshow, Bu.
Oh yeah, thank you. Thank you. Okay. The establishment of the online learning system in the circle of the Ministry of Education and Culture dated March 17. This is the background, 2020. And also the learning process, which is generally carried out in the classroom, conventional way, face-to-face, meeting in person, and replaced by distance classes by using some platforms. Then also taken from the references. One of the references is from Brown in 2017. That the advantages of doing digital learning is that students can learn from home at any time. So they can do learning by adjusting their own pace. And then in response to this, the Faculty of Teacher Training and Education, majoring in English Education, FKIP Uniska Kediri, through the direction of the Dean, determined that learning is carried out following the standard operating procedure, which refers to blended learning, based teaching and learning activities. So we did the blended learning at the time. And let's go to the next slide. Okay, the some procedures for implementing blended learning is as follows. So the first is the lecturers make the classes under the course and class, and then they require to adjust the level of ease, readiness. This is belong to the students and also the lecturers, and also the security of the LMS used. Next, lecturers also required to hold meetings according to the schedule, so they do not allow to change the schedule, except if they have the agreement with the students. And the duration also had been determined by the university. It is a little bit different for the time duration, which is normally in face-to-face class. It is about 50 minutes for one SKS, and during this distance learning by doing online class, it is reduced. So it's only about 40 or 45 minutes for one SKS. Then lecture models can consist of video conferences, discussion, lecture upload materials consisting of PowerPoint presentation, videos, and also so on. And all the assignments, midterm, final semester, if it is written, are done online and adjusted to the condition. Next slide. It can be a challenge or opportunity because the educators are forced to adjust learning formulas such as implementing appropriate learning system management in carrying out teaching in online class sessions. It can be said that it is a challenge because there's some kind of like a special condition that before all educators here, especially in FIP UNISCA, did the did the process of teaching learning by face-to-face meeting or meeting in person in the classroom, so conventional way. Sometimes we did the online, but not all lecturers did this. So only a few lecturers conducted this online learning before the pandemic. And then the second is the readiness of students who take learning in different location zones, which demand the stability of an internet connection network, because we have many students that coming up several areas of Indonesia, and even though in Kediri itself, there are still some places that they cannot have the good connection of internet, so we need to to make sure whether the students are ready or not by doing the online classes. This research method used qualitative descriptive and the instruments, and also the data collection method used the interviews and online learning survey. Also, it is including 158 students from several classes, so from the different semesters. And the last, the flow model analysis technique adapted from Miles and Huberman. So the technique represents 3 ways in conducting the data, such as data reduction, data display, and verification. So we verify the data from what we got from the survey, online survey, and we verify it by doing some interviews to some students randomly, and also some lecturers. Well, about the findings is divided into 2 terms. The first is concerning with the technical issues, and the second is explaining what the readiness is like, what I have told you before. So the technical issues that may arise as major problems, such as because the devices that is used by the students during online classes, and also the use of online application, including LMS or non-LMS during the online classes. While the second finding explains the readiness of students and lecturers in the terms of lecturers' readiness in providing learning material and students' readiness in understanding the material provided. So these 2 findings are got from the research. Okay, this is the more discussion about the findings. As seen from the table, or sorry, for the diagram, these are the picture or the devices used by students during online classes. most of them using mobile phones. There are more than 80% or 81%. And then they use notebook and PCs, 14%. And others, they combine PC, mobile phone, notebook, and others is only 5%. So most of the students use mobile phones as their device during joining the online classes. While table 2 is showing the LMS and non-LMS used, here it can be seen from the bar chart below, bar chart on the slide, that the use of LMS is more significant than non-LMS during online classes. It can be seen that we use Microsoft Office 365. There are about 82% here, 82 students answered that they use this one, LMS of Microsoft Office 365. And then the Google Classroom is about 22 students answered. They do the class with this. And then by doing Telegram boot, it's about 15, yeah, a bit in between 10 to 20. And besides the non-LMS here, the combining from YouTube, very low, less than 10%, and then WhatsApp, and then Zoom. This is some kind of like supporting platform for the lecturers in conducting the class online. So the next table or the next figures show about the readiness of lecturers in providing material through online. Here, from the online questionnaires taken to the given to the students, most of them said that the lecturers are very good in providing material through online, and good come after that, and bad and worse a little bit far from that number that said the lecturers are good and very good in providing material. It can be said that the lecturers are ready in implementing online class as well as providing each material, even though there are still some students argued in the category of bad and worse because the numbers are so far. So my partner and I said that this is an indication or indicator that lecturers are ready. The next table showing the students' readiness in understanding the material through online. The student mostly argued that the materials are easy to understand because there are 74 said good, very good is only 26, but good are still having the highest position, and then bad 52, and worse 11 students said that they are worse in understanding the material through online. But this is, I think, because I'm also I'm a lecturer here. This is true that the fact that the students said it's very difficult to understand the material by distance learning, especially if they cannot have direct contact like calling or something with the lecturer. Okay. So regarding the students' readiness in understanding the material is also influenced by lecturer technique that has been implemented during the class. This is very true. So if the lecturers can adjust the media or the way he or she delivered the material, it can really help the students to understand the materials, even in the distance learning. So the last slide is about the conclusion. Regarding online teaching, challenges or opportunities, the lecturer must know what devices are used by students because this is important, since if the lecturers do not know what kind of devices mostly used by the students, they do not they are not able to decide what platform is the most suitable for the students, because it can have implication like the understanding of the students and also how the material can be delivered well. Another challenge is that students tend to focus on what the lecturers have provided in terms of teaching materials, because online class access is limited. Although it can be accessed at any time, it must be the obligation of students to improve independent learning. And this is still a very big problem here that the students really need to develop independent learning. So it can be said another challenge. It is also an opportunity here. It can be a good start for the students to have what is started to develop their independent learning more by reading a lot. Then the last is the application of online teaching and learning can be opportunity not only for students but also for lecturers. Because having the ability of LMS and non-LMS to provide appropriate classroom and teaching and learning processes is one of the opportunities in today's education world, especially during times of crisis such as a pandemic outbreak. This is very true that mostly in Indonesia, or I can say that in my own place, in my university, in my faculty, not all lecturers are ready, not all students are ready with this shifting from the conventional class to the online class. But this is such a, what is it? It must happen someday. So by having this pandemic outbreak, it is like an emergency. We are forced to do this, and I think this is a good, or maybe this is like a blessing in disguise. Thank you so much, Miss Jessica. That's my presentation is finished.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Fulan, for enriching our knowledge, especially about teaching during the pandemic, because it's related to today's situation also. Okay, thank you so much. All right.
You're welcome.
Yes, now it's time for question and answers. For the first round, I will invite 3 questions. Please click on the raise hand icon, and when you speak, please mention your name and affiliation. Or you can also address your question in the chat room by mentioning name _ affiliation _ to whom the questions will be addressed and your question. Okay.
How did the teachers control students?
We have question from Ms. Ati Herawati for Mr. Eddie. Hello, Mr. Eddie. There's a question for you. Mr. Eddie, how did the teachers control the students who were learning at home? Okay,
Hello.
please, Mr. Eddie. There's a question for you, Mr. Eddie.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, it's raining.
It's okay,
So I
sir.
cannot hear your voice clearly. Sorry, for
Okay.
disrupting. It's raining outside, very heavy raining. I cannot hear your voice clearly. Sorry.
Okay, Mr. Eddie, can you hear my voice now?
Yes.
Okay, there's a
Okay,
question.
thank you.
Yes. There's a question for you, sir.
Yes.
The question is, how did the teachers control the students who were learning at home?
Okay. This question from Ibu Ati Herawati. Right, I try to answer this question. Sorry for the question. My house right now is very heavy rain. I cannot hear your voice clearly, but I try to answer this. So far, especially in my school, we do online teaching, and the controls, especially we make something like group for the parents, WhatsApp group for the parents, so that when the children, for example, do not submit the words, we remind the students again, if the students still do not submit with the work, then we give the notification. To some extent this strategy work. But again, other parents some things did not have to their children, to their kids. So this is also a big questioning for us, especially in my schools. Yeah, sometimes we cannot reach the parents. We have trouble in contacting the parents due to the limitation of the connections of internet. Even after 1 or 2 months of online teaching and learning, students just contact us and let us know that they just have good signal of internet connection. Therefore, they ask again the work that already have given by the teachers 2 months ago. So this is reality. Again, the strategy that we do in order to control the students in this online teaching is first making groups through WhatsApp, always to remind students about their works, and then they also do interaction, give feedback through WhatsApp application, and also we also remind the parents about what their children do. For example, in this week and the following weeks, and we also let the parents know that some of students have not submitted the work that already given by the teachers. So this is the way we control the students. Unlike already explained by Ibu Johanna, yeah, our speaker at the first time, Bu Johanna said that especially for higher level students, it is doable to give the students something like Zoom meeting in order to give feedback. But in my area, especially in Lampung, Zoom sometimes did not work to certain area. The problem is low internet connection. So this is the case. So that's I hope it answers the question from Ibu Ati. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Eddie,
Yes.
for answering the questions.
Yes.
I apologize because we have limited time. We cannot answer all the questions, but if you need further information, you can directly contact the speakers through email that is written in the program book. Thank you. Okay, so before we close today's session, would you like to open the camera because we will take a photo together.
Oh yeah.
Please everyone turn on the camera. Okay, we will wait for the operator. I think it's still loading. Please wait for a minute. We will take a photo together. Okay, let's count. 1, 2. Once again. 1, 2. Okay, that's the end of Parallel Session 1. Thank you so much for joining our Parallel Session 1. After this, we will have lunch break, and at 1 p.m., we will continue to the Parallel Session 2. Enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you for all the speakers.